Hey, so this video is going to address one of the biggest challenges that people have in the entire network marketing profession, especially when they're first getting started, and that's recruiting. So in this video, I'm going to break down in 5 easy steps that anyone can do exactly how the professionals become top recruiters and top producers. 5 easy steps on how to recruit, the exact process. All right, so grab something to take some notes with and let's get started.
He comes on hard but nice. He's sincere, he is humble, but he is a powerhouse. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage,
All right, so today you're going to learn some of the secret sauce, right, of the pros, the 7- and 8-figure earners. Okay, so I've never been the #1 recruiter in any company, but I've been the #1 earner in 3 separate companies and trained people that went on and become the #1 recruiter. I can show you exactly how to do this. We're going to break it down in 5 easy steps anyone can do. So hopefully you've got something to take notes with. I'm going to explain, I'm going to go over the 5 steps really quickly right now and list them. And then I'm going to go back, explain them, and I'm going to give you an example at the end. This will be a very in-depth and specific training. Okay, so step number 1 is reach out and check up. Okay, so you're going to reach out to your prospect and check up on them, building rapport very briefly. Step 2 is sharing your story. Okay, you're really going to ask permission to share your story using a very specific phrase or question that gets the same result 100% of the time. Step 3 is once you've shared your story, you're going to use the if I would you concept. If I were to send you a little information to take a look at, when would you get a chance to check it out, and simply give me your honest feedback. Okay, so that's step 3. Step 4 is to actually send them the information. All right, if you want to know what I send folks, feel free to reach out. But I send everyone the same thing every single time, no matter what, no matter who they are. No one gets any preferential treatment. For me, it's just a very repetitive process of doing these 5 steps. The 5th step is simply follow up, follow up, follow up. Okay, Jim Rohn said the fortune's in the follow-up. We all know that. Not everyone does it, but we all know it, okay? So let me explain this. Step 1 is reach out and catch up, or reach out and check up, rather. So you're going to reach out to your prospect, and with me, I like to keep it fun, lighthearted, so I might reach out and say, yo, 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 what's up, Steve? Whatever it is, however you're going to do it. Hey, what's up, Steve? How you been? What you been up to? It's been forever. And so Steve, I'm going to wait for him to respond before I say anything further other than what you've been up to. It's been too long. What's new? And so he responds. I take sincere interest in whatever he's saying. And by the way, I like to do a lot of this over the phone or over, Messenger, talking, that sort of thing. Zoom, if I can get them on a Zoom. I really want to be able to set up a time where we can talk. But if we can't talk, I do a lot through voice notes on Facebook or on social media. I try not to do too much through text just because you can't convey emotion and excitement through text. So anyhow, I'm going to reach out to Steve. Hey, Steve, what's up, man? How you been? It's been forever. Steve says, oh, man, I've been da-da-da-da. I've been doing whatever. Great. That's awesome. Step 2 is sharing your story. So I'm going to say exactly this, okay? Write this down. Pause the video if you have to, but write this down. Let's say, that's great. Hey, listen, I'm about to go into a meeting here in about 8 minutes. All right, I've got a call I've got to get on, but I've got an interesting story for you. If you've got a few minutes, is now a good time. So whenever I talk to Steve over here, I want to, 1, say that I'm busy. Okay, I'm going into a meeting. I've got a call I've got to get on. I got a Zoom I've got to get on. Whatever it is, you want to say you're busy first. People relate being busy with being successful. Plus, that lets them know you're not going to be talking for a half hour, okay? And you don't have time for questions as well. So, hey Steve, I've got a meeting I'm about to go into. I've got a lunch meeting I'm about to go into. I'm actually sitting outside of the restaurant right now, but I've got an interesting story for you. If you've got a few minutes, is now a good time. Write that down. I've got an interesting story for you. If you've got a few minutes, is now a good time. Okay, so say you're busy, then say that. All right. Hey, I've got a call I've got to get on in a few minutes, but I've got an interesting story for you. If you've got a few minutes, is now a good time. They always say yes. They want to hear your interesting story, and it's only a few minutes. Then you're going to share your story. And it's just a quick 2 or 3 minute story of what brought you to be in this company that you're in. And, it could be just a real quick, think problem solution. It could be something just a real quick, hey, I was doing this. This is a challenge that I had. A buddy of mine reached out to me. I was blown away. This is a taste of what I saw, right? So that's what you're going to do. The next step, okay, step 3 is the if I would you concept. Once you've shared your story, your quick 2 or 3 minute story, all right, then what you're going to do is say this exactly, okay? Say, so if I were to send you a little information to check out, when would you get a chance to look at it and give me your honest feedback? That's very important when you say, give me your honest feedback. You're not looking for them to buy your product, to join your business, to do anything other than to just give you honest feedback. That's it. So even if they were to say, well, I don't think I'd be interested. Okay, great. That's awesome. I want your honest feedback. Even if you're not interested, I want to know your thoughts on it. When would you get a chance to check it out? It's about 10 minutes worth of information to take a look at, and just give me your honest feedback. That's it. Okay? So if I would you, all right? You've shared your story. Now you go on to say, so if I were to send you a little information to take a look at, when would you get a chance to check it out and give me your honest feedback? All right, that's step 3. They say 7 o'clock. Okay, great. I'm actually going to be busy at 7, but I should be wrapped up by about 7:15. Does that work? It doesn't matter what time they say. I'm going to say that I'm busy because once again, people relate being busy with being successful. Even if it's 7, I'll say 7:15. So the next step would be to send them the information. Okay, here's the transition into that, which is very important. Okay, so I've already said, hey, if I were to send you a little information, when would you get a chance to check it out and simply give me your honest feedback? They say 7. I say, okay, cool. I'll actually be busy about 7, but I should be wrapped up by 7:15. Does that work for you? I say, yeah, great. Hey, listen, I'm extremely slammed, super busy, but I promise you I will carve out some time in my schedule to make certain I give you a call at 7:15. Are you positive you'll have checked out the information by then and 7:15 works for you? Okay, so that's an extra layer of accountability. That's very important because when I call them, whenever I follow up, which is the next step, by the way, whenever I follow up, I want to make sure that they answer. But if not, I'll explain how to deal with that too. So then you send them the information. I send the same information every time. I always have. No one gets any preferential treatment from me. That's just how I've always been. I don't view someone as homeless or an 8-figure earner or successful or not. It's all the same to me. I'm talking to people, putting them through the process, following up. That's it. Same every single time, right? So the 5th and final step is follow up. Now, when you follow up with them, you've got 3 questions that you ask, and that's it. It's a pretty simple conversation. So when you follow up with them, hey, what's up? How's your day been? Da-da-da. Step 1, or question 1, is, did you get a chance to check out the information I sent you? They say, yeah, I did. Great. And that'll bring you to question 2. But if they say no, you say, okay, well, listen, I actually have a lot of people that I do have to follow up with that have looked at the information. In fact, I was pushing a call back just so I could follow up with you. When do you think you'll have about 10 or 15 minutes to take a look at that information, and that way we can hop back on the phone? And then just reschedule. Okay? But most of the time they say yes. So you follow up, and they say, yeah, I got a chance to check out the information I sent you. Great. What'd you like about what you saw? Is question 2. What'd you like about what you saw? Not what'd you think, okay? Because you want them to sell themselves on whatever it is. So what'd you like about what you saw? And they say, oh, I like the this, that, and the other. Oh yeah, that's actually one of my favorite parts as well. Third question is, well, what kind of question did you have for me? What kind of questions did you have? And they say, well, I had a question about the this, that, and the other. At that point in time, you got 2 choices. You can either address the question yourself and then move on to a close or an attempt to close. Or 2, you can set them up for a 3-way call or a 3-way introduction, a 3-way messenger on Facebook, whatever. And there's real power in 3-way calls. We can talk about that on a different video, but it's important that you understand you've got 2 ways that you could take this. One is you could go ahead and attempt to close after you address their questions, or you can introduce them to someone else who they can answer all the questions for them, and you don't really have to do much. If I were to say my favorite of the 2, it would be introduce them to someone else. I could answer all their questions, but you always want to think about duplication. So if you pass them to someone that can answer all their questions, if they say, well, I've got a question about the compensation plan. You say, you know what? That's a great question. I'd be curious what my partner, John Johnson over here, has to say. John was the first person to break the 4-minute mile, and he can speed read a book of 150 pages in 12 seconds, whatever it is. Edify John, speak him up, talk highly of him. That way you build John's value up as an expert, and they listen to what John has to say. Then get John on the phone, introduce them, and just be quiet until the call is over. So when you follow up, that's pretty simply how you do that. If you want to attempt to close, we can talk about closing on a different video, but it's usually just as simple as addressing their questions and asking them if they're ready to go ahead and just get started. Because most of the time, people just need to know the next step, okay? Don't be afraid to ask for the close. All right, so with that in mind, I can tell you real quickly an example of what this whole process might sound like, okay? So let's say that I'm talking to somebody and say, hey, John, how you been? What you been up to, man? It's been forever. Yeah, oh, well, that's cool. Hey, listen, I've got an interesting story for you. If you've got a few minutes, is now a good time? He says, yeah. Okay, great. Hey, so as you know, I retired a couple years ago from the network marketing profession just to do training and coaching. And after a while, it got kind of boring, to be honest with you. And I looked at every company that was out there, right? And I found this really cool technology company with 2 flagship products, one of which actually makes you money itself. And so it's really interesting when the product itself makes you money. I took a closer look because a buddy of mine sent me some information, and I was absolutely blown away, not only by the flagship product, but they have a whole assortment of apps that are designed to either make you money, save you money, or grow your money. And my mama taught me a penny saved is a penny earned, right? So it was really impressive. And after hearing some of the incredible success stories people are already having from the product and from the compensation plan and the culture I've seen in the company, I had no choice. I had to get involved. It seemed like it was the only smart decision. So if I were to send you a little information and just take a look at it and tell me your honest feedback, when would you get a chance to do that? 7? Okay, well, I actually be busy at 7, but I should be wrapped up by about 7:15. Does that work for you, or would it work better to chat in the morning? 7:15 works? Okay, great. Listen, I'm really busy, but I promise you I will carve out some time in my schedule to make certain I give you a call about 7:15. Are you positive you have looked at the information and that time works for you? It does? Okay, great. I'll send over the info right now. Great catching up with you. We'll talk later for sure, and I'll talk to you at 7:15, okay? Thanks. Done. Okay? So don't overcomplicate it. It doesn't have to be word for word. Just have fun and understand that the expert in anything was once a beginner. Okay, so you'll get the hang of it. You just got to practice through repetition. Hopefully this video helped you tremendously with your recruiting skills. if you learn it, memorize it, and apply this stuff, then I know that it will help tremendously. So appreciate you guys. See you on the next video.